But that's really funny because that's like the number one question that I've gotten every single time that I've gone to an interview. Basically, you get that question is tell me a little bit about yourself. And why can't you say anything? Why can't you just be like, I'm going to school at the time you were in school?
Well, listen, okay, the whole point of the exercise was you're supposed to pick someone you didn't know. And you already knew everything that you needed to know about me.
You were supposed to pretend I didn't know anything about you.
That part got into my head before anything else, and I was like, Sam already knows everything about me, what do I gotta say? What you see is what you get, man. Like, And then that's kind of been the advice anytime I'm like, hey, Sam, I've got an interview coming up. I need some advice. And you're like, just tell them what you see is what you get. And I'm like, thanks, Sam. This is great advice.
Solid advice. That's what I'm here for.
Mm-hmm. But we should probably actually give some real advice.
Yeah.
To people about going into interviews. I'm going to let you start with the whole topic. So what would you say would be the best kind of advice to give someone going cold into an interview?
Going cold into an interview?
I mean, okay.
One of the best things that you could do in an interview at all is not go cold into the interview.
What are you talking about? You should know nothing about the company or anything else that's going on.
You should know at least a little bit about it. Every interview basically that I've had has at some point asked me if I've checked out their website or their Facebook page or whatever. Like, and it doesn't at least know what it looks like. Be like, yeah, your website is green. Like, you know, it just a little bit goes a long way. And I mean, for me, it's a little bit different for me because I am
because you're good at interviews? Thanks.
Well, no, because I can talk my way into or out of anything.
That's true, yes.
Very good at talking my way into and out of stuff. So when someone asks me questions, my mouth just starts to work, and that's it. It's just a special skill I have.
I just gotta have that.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't even know how to answer this question for good advice, because I have no good advice. I am terrible at interviews. And I shouldn't say this, because, I mean, goodness knows that somebody who might be hiring me in the future will be listening to this and be like, oh, he's not good. Sweet.
He's already said he's not good. Okay.
So we've already got this out of the way. Now something that I'm going to say, and I'm probably going to edit out, so that I've still got the upper hand, but something I'm just going to tell you, maybe I'll make it on the video one, if I decide to use that for content, is before anything starts, normally they ask you if you have any questions at the very beginning, right? Yeah. And the thing to say is, thank you very much for having me, blah, 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 they said, but it's good to ask a really powerful question at the very beginning of your interview, saying, what is it about my candidacy that drew you to having me here today?
Oh.
That will make the employers or the people who are interviewing you look at your resume, look at your stuff, and point out the most important and most highlighted things about your resume. They will pick out the best things they possibly can find.
Yeah.
And they will highlight those. From that point on, half of your job is done in the interview. They have already found the best parts about you. All you've got to do is make them think and make them believe why you're so good at the things that they already know that you're good at.
Make them believe. Make
them
think.
So still I'm screwed. But that is one of the best pieces of advice that I've ever seen for getting an interview.
I don't know where you learned that from. That's the most amazing thing I've ever heard. And how did you say you're bad at interviews if that's the piece of advice you have? That's amazing.
Because I don't get many interviews, Sam.
Oh my god. That's amazing. I'm going to do that from now on.
Yeah.
I like that.
I mean, it is one of the it's a little bit of a mind trick. That's the thing.
You gotta go in and just like psychologically screw with their minds.
Well, that's what half of an interview is, though, is it not? It's a bit of a psychological throwback because they're sitting you in a room, they're putting you on edge, and these people are judging you depending on what your talents and what your things are to see if you are good enough for their company. So you've got to play a little bit of psychological warfare going, hey, why am I so good? Why'd you say, hey, kid, come in here, sit down, we're going to talk to you.
That's amazing advice.
You have there's a reason.
I normally just sort of go in guns a-blazing and just like
look at me, I've got blue hair.
At me. Yeah, that's normally what I do.
Wow. Burpy today, aren't you?
I wasn't just indigestion. Don't worry about it.
Sweet.